Hello, this is Local Edition. I'm Leslie Leyton. Well, it is Plan B for Fullerton and its efforts to merge its fire department. And the Hillcrest Park, new improvements, we're going to tell you about them. The mayor is here. We'd like to welcome Bruce Whitaker. Welcome.
Thank you, Leslie.
Last we talked, you were trying to work out a joint powers authority with the city of Brea. You were hoping to merge the efforts of your fire department so that you could be more efficient and hopefully save a buck here or there, but that's not happening.
Yes, efforts at regional government are happening at the city level because of pressures, budgetary pressures, wanting to maintain the quality of services, and sometimes it takes a little larger organization. So both cities had prior passed a shell of a JPA, and this was looking at fire, whether or not to include fire into that JPA.
Mm-hmm. So the thought is that if you work with another city, you could share expenses and that would work out. Why were you looking at a joint power authority? What were you hoping to gain from that?
Well, savings is one of the obvious reasons. We've already achieved savings through a shared command structure. Our fire chief and battalion chiefs are the same for both Brea and Fullerton, but that's under an MOU, which is a more short-term situation. If they were included...
MOU meaning?
Memorandum of Understanding, a contractual agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Not actually a mini government the way that a joint powers authority is. So what that would do if we flesh out this JPA over time is allow economies of scale, allow other cities to join, and make the management of that a little bit more centralized away from each city.
Okay, so the city of Brea voted 4-1 city council. We're not going to do it. What does that mean for you? What are you considering now? What are your options?
Well, we're back to the drawing board because some of the same pressures that forced the discussion about regional government, they remain. And the original intent with the JPA was to have 4 or 5 North County cities participate. But as we neared in the talks with the other cities, and we've all been involved in this for the last couple of years, it was only Brea that was ready to forge ahead with Fullerton. And now their council has decided not. So we're back to the drawing board.
How is the fire operation functioning right now?
I think it's functioning well, but with the urbanization that we're seeing with more levels of construction, you need more sophisticated equipment. The challenges that we have even with inspections and regulatory issues, everything's getting a little bit more complex. So smaller full-service departments like Brea or Fullerton, which is larger but still small to operate a full-service public safety agency, we're having to find solutions. We're having to really beat the bushes for ideas.
A lot of cities are in flux. The city of Irvine was with the Orange County Fire Authority, and it's rethinking that plan.
Yes, Irvine had some property tax dedication to the OCFA, and so they were looking at their contribution as being much higher than the other member cities. Well, Irvine's budget situation is richer than most of those cities as well. But if they were to pull out of the Orange County Fire Authority, it would create some real domino effect for the other cities.
So a lot of rethinking going on across the board throughout the county. Let's talk about something else. Hillcrest Park, everything old is new again. The benefit of Fullerton, there's some real gems that are being dusted off and shined up and revisited and really enjoyed some of the downtown area. And now the park, Hillcrest Park.
Yeah, we're proud of our parks and Fullerton City Park, Hillcrest. So many of the parks are part of the county regional system, and we benefit by those as well. But we have a nearly 40-acre park, Hillcrest, which is a key part of Fullerton's history. It's in need of a facelift, so we're working on a grand entry system with a bridge across the front, restoration of the old WPA fountain and gathering place for our veterans events in the front of the park, and then also a $1.7 million stair step up from Lions Field up to the very top part of the park on the back end. So those are going on right now.
Yeah, that'll be great for everyone to use. Now, the city is trying to make it easier for people to be involved in what's going on in the city. If you see something, say something as far as graffiti and potholes, making it easier with a new app on the website.
Yeah, I like to talk about success stories, and we've had a major success story utilizing the technology that we all have now. The smartphone and the ability to point out a problem, to get a GPS link to it, and report directly to the city so that they can respond to graffiti or to potholes in particular. So it allows all of our residents to be the eyes and the ears of the city, and we're getting a really good response time and good results out of that.
Huh, so what kinds of things have you responded to on that?
Well, mostly our streets have been fairly deteriorating for a while, so this Band-Aid approach of trying to keep that together has worked well. We are enlisting when there is a major problem. It can even be a safety issue. So to have the citizens out there reporting this in real time is a boon.
Hey, people love to complain. What's the website?
On the city's website, go on the city's website or on Facebook, and it'll be very clear to attach to the app.
Okay. You're also working to develop your 2-year budget plan. How's that going?
Well, we're in the very earliest stages. We'll have a couple special meetings coming up soon. And all cities are suffering from the pressures right now, certainly of the growing pension liability. But beyond that, there are some other challenges as well. I found out recently that because of some changes statewide, that our outside tree trimming contracts may escalate precipitously as well. So I mentioned, I looked at our last budget and I made a report at my talk around town, the last talk around town, and I pointed out where expenses are growing at twice the rate of our income, and our income mostly from sales taxes and property taxes, other forms of revenue.
So when you say your needs are growing greater than your revenue, is that because your needs are growing, or is it because the revenue is going down?
It's because the expenses are growing,
Okay.
and one of the big drivers is the pension liability. But there are other areas of inflation. You know, we've been in very low inflationary times, but that really hasn't been the case for street repair or for steel. So many other things which underlie our infrastructure. They've been growing at much faster than the rate of inflation.
You mentioned unfunded pension liability, and this is something that's really difficult to kind of understand when we're busy living our own lives. But what percentage of the city budget does unfunded pension liabilities take up, or the pensions?
Well, we usually express it as a percentage of payroll, and of course most of the city budget is dedicated to payroll, to labor, and most cities 70 to 80%. Well, we're nearing now a parity at public safety where the pension costs are starting to become as close as the salary. We're projecting in the very near term, which is in effect almost a doubling of that most expensive part of a budget, the labor costs. But it's not just the pension, it's also retiree medical, which has grown really rapidly as well. So pushing down the retirement age by the 3 at 50 plan, where public safety employees retire at 50, it creates a gap, and the post-retirement medical is a major part of that liability as well. And cities are scrambling statewide to try to address this.
Yeah, it is a serious consideration. Did it weigh in Brea's decision to not want to hop on with you?
Well, it weighed in the decision to at least look at a JPA to begin with. But yes, now everyone is looking.
Before I marry you, I want to know what your debts are. That's kind of how this thing works.
That's partly it. And also, even our efforts to move to regional government, we're behind the curve at this point. Most people are going to be experiencing these huge expense increases.
Okay. Quick update on the new city manager?
Alan Roeder, and he has been an important first responder for us in our hour of need. We did have a vacancy in the city manager and also the chief of police. And I mentioned Dave Heinig last time, our interim chief of police, but Alan Roeder came to us from Costa Mesa. He retired there after 25 years, a wealth of experience, a really great guy.
All right. We appreciate you being here, Mayor Bruce Whitaker from the city of Fullerton. Thank you so
Leslie.
much. Glad you could come along. I'm Leslie Leyton.